It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? This is the only fun Survivor podcast. My name is Jake Scheidel. Each week I ask my best friend, Thomas Powell, if he did indeed watch a certain reality show. Hey, Thomas, how's it going today?
Jake, it's going good. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Mr. Wind has been recalled from his new office of mayor of West Michigan because it's been pretty nice out here.
That's so wonderful. I'm sorry you couldn't stick it out with Mr. Wind. I guess, just wasn't built for the Windy City like we were. We have a new mayor. I know we were just talking about our new mayor, Mr. Cold. He's been replaced as well with Mr. Fog. There's been so much fog recently. Can you believe that?
It's great.
Just constant mist and rain.
Do you think that Chicago's being infected by Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco values with the way that the weather has turned?
Yes, exactly. The weather's so wet now, just like San Francisco, because there's a big bridge in the ocean that it overhangs.
Do you think that you helped make this happen because we watched the movie Zodiac?
Yeah, I think that probably had a lot to do with it, because the rain was like, oh, finally another place for me to go. And it traveled over. Did you get a lot of rain recently since we watched Zodiac over in Grand Rapids, Michigan?
We did get a decent amount of rain, especially like the last week. So, yeah, I think it might have something to do with it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So we did watch Zodiac before we watched this season of Survivor, which is, of course, Survivor China. Thomas, did you watch Survivor China last night?
I certainly did, Jake.
And what a couple episodes it was. The first one we watched this week was called I'm Not As Dumb As I Look. First aired November 1st, 2007. I almost said 2007. Can you believe that? I was almost that guy, but I didn't.
Oh, 2007.
How old would we have been? November 1st, 2007.
Well, in November 1st of '07, I would have been 16 years old.
As would I have been. And do you recall, us being 16-year-olds going to the movies every weekend? Do you recall the number one movie of this weekend?
Oh, man. Was it still Saw 4?
It was no longer Saw 4. We are now in November. Would you like a hint?
Sure.
First hint, it was directed by Ridley Scott.
Oh, 2007. Oh, is it the Robin Hood movie that he made?
It is not. This one was starring Denzel Washington.
Oh, man. What did Ridley Scott
I'll give you another hint.
I know Tony Scott's done a bunch of Denzel Washington movies. Oh, is it American Gangster?
It is American Gangster, yes.
Rock Boys in the building tonight.
Did you know that Jay-Z album is not actually a soundtrack to that movie?
What?
A movie I have not seen. No, it's just inspired by that movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I just learned that today. I've, never watched that movie, and I've rarely listened to that album. I just knew that they had the same name and came out around the same time. I thought they were more closely related. Not that closely, apparently.
Yeah, I kind of thought they were affiliated too, but, thanks to all the hustlers and, most importantly, you, the customer.
The Rock Boys in the building tonight.
We are the customer that is Survivor. What do you think I meant by saying that? We are the customer that is Survivor. You can't argue that it's not a sentence, because it is technically a sentence.
It is. It doesn't necessarily describe anything, but it certainly is a sentence that you put together. Man, did you know there's going to be a fourth Kung Fu Panda movie? I'm sorry, I'm watching the football game right now while we're doing this.
Tell me about what's happening.
I just want to keep all of our
4.
listeners apprised of the many fine films that are going to be available to them in the future. If I see any other interesting trailers, I'll be sure to let you know.
Please do keep us updated on what's happening on the football game. We see Jean Robert complaining about getting votes at the last tribal council. I just feel like Jean Robert's going to complain about whatever happens, so why not vote for him,
Yeah, get him out of there. It's not worth having him around. He's bugging everybody.
PG tries to pull James to her side. Courtney confronts Todd about always taking Jean Robert's side. And Jamie notices the sign missing from their archway, so she and Eric go through James's bag. We talk about this every time it happens, but we don't like it. It feels rude.
Yeah, I think that there should be a rule against searching people's bags.
Yep. James acts confidently excited in his talking head, assuming Jamie has a fake idol. They then merge. They get a feast and a Chinese cultural performance, including acrobatics, fireworks, dancing, and contortionists. Pretty cool stuff, huh?
Yeah, I thought this was pretty neat. Seems like it would be fun to watch.
Would you say it's cool to have cultural experiences on the television show Survivor?
Yeah, like the idea that it's an interesting setting, that, maybe the setting is also kind of a character in the show. And, it spices things up a little bit. You get some interesting challenges based around it. You get to, have some, people experience local flavors and culture. It seems good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're still doing it every single season.
You're going to love Fiji, though. It's such a perfect place.
I mean, it's got to be pretty
Survivor.
great. I mean, I don't think that Truman would be so keen to go there if it wasn't
Exactly.
awesome.
So up next, we learn that they are naming their tribe Black Fighting Wind. What do you think of this tribe name?
It's a little long.
It's a bit long. That's certainly true.
Needs an editor.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's okay. They seem happy with it, so we are happy for them.
Take out the. It's just Black Fighting Wind, not the Black Fighting Wind.
Yeah. Then Jeff comes to camp for their immunity challenge. Why did he do this? This was unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't really get this either. They wanted everyone to feel judged while they were there, I guess.
So they have to recall what happened at the Merge Feast performances. I liked this. This was a fun little memory puzzle quiz challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty great. I like that. I mean, look, I think it was pretty good that they had to, unexpectedly remember something based off of all the effort that got put into it. But, what if it was just like an obstacle course?
Ooh,
That they've done
like
several times before. Maybe there's a puzzle that one of the players 3D printed and did at home because they've
puzzle's the
reused
great
it so many
equalizer.
times.
That's such a great idea.
Just because,
And then-
it really lets you demonstrate like what big fans of the show Survivor was. Because, you don't want the location to overshadow Survivor because of how much we all love the brand Survivor.
That would be like having a football game in a neutral location between two teams without any personality or hometown character
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah, and
Which is fun, 'cause we love
people want
football
to
so
celebrate
much.
the NFL. They don't care about where the teams are from.
We just love the fundamentals, or as I like to call them, the fundamentals of football.
The show's not called China. It's called Survivor China. And honestly, I
Exactly.
kind of wish that they would take the China out of the title because it detracts from the Survivor part of it.
And you know what they finally did? Drop the China, keep the Survivor, they said in Survivor
cleaner.
41. Yeah, and that's really great. I'm so happy that they did that. Frosty wins this challenge, I should say, on a question about feet. Felt appropriate, given the most recent season of Survivor.
Yeah, this was ahead of its time in terms of feat. It was a feat of its time.
Good one. James, Todd, and Amanda discuss their vote, but Amanda is worried about Courtney. James says this isn't Love Connection. Was that a show?
Yeah, I think that's probably like an old game show.
The funny thing is, back in 2007, of course, these kinds of shows didn't exist, but now there is like Love Island and Love on the Naked Spectrum and
MILF
Naked and
Manor.
Afraid. MILF Manor is another one. X on the Beach is another one. There's so many game shows where it is about finding your match on an island.
Yeah, definitely
So-
those shows are about finding a match and not about spectacle.
What are you talking about? What else would they be about?
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt this to let our listeners know that there is a new season of Halo coming in February, so
Oh, good. I've been wondering about that.
if you want to see what the Master Chief is up to.
There was a promo for some show called La Brea or something like that.
Oh
during
my
the
God,
Royal
yes.
Rumble last night.
La Brea is like, what if like you lobotomized the writer's room for Lost and they made a show?
Ah, cool. That sounds great. The promo said the final season, and I was like, "What the? I've never even heard of this show."
Oh, it's been out for a couple of years. I think like 2021 is when it started.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna watch it. It looks great.
It might be the new The Event.
Oh, I remember that. Could be the
NBC's
new
The
The
Event?
Slap. Yeah, of course. How could I forget? Speaking of NBC shows, is Killing It coming back? Peacock shows, excuse me.
I mean, I certainly hope so. I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm suddenly gotten really worried about it because I really enjoyed that show. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that. Jean Robert talks to Todd, and Jean Robert is worried about PG and then threatens him if he's voted out. This was a cool move from Jean Robert, everybody's favorite guy.
He loves to threaten people, and you know what? Threatening people is really good to do in a kind of game where everyone can vote you out. It's definitely good to just go threaten everybody.
If I'm voted out, I'm taking it out on you. Okay, dude. With what power?
I guess it's like, yeah, the like jury vote thing or whatever, but like, I don't know. I just think at a certain point,
jury.
you're one vote, and nobody else on the jury likes you. So
Yeah. Yeah, he is, he should be on the Traitors. He's peacocking so much, you know?
good
Puffing
one.
up his chest or whatever. You know what the metaphor I'm trying to make.
Of
PG
course.
and Jamie talk about pulling in Courtney to their side. Jamie tells Frosty she thinks she has an idol. And Jamie says she'll tell Todd who has the idol if he keeps her around. What are, like, people are, like, negotiating with information here, and it feels weird. Just tell the person or don't, you know? That's how I feel about it. Like, nobody's information is worth potentially messing up my own game for your information.
Yeah.
So Amanda says she's having fun at Tribal Council, which seems to upset Jeff Probst, honestly.
This
I
is
thought that
about
was
fun.
funny. Yeah. It's not Funvivor, it's Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what you will call me. Why
Yeah,
don't
you'll
they call
call
Jeff Probst
Sir and Man.
Survivor?
Yeah. Survivor, the host of Survivor.
Let's do a simulated season that's all women, called Mamvivor.
Sir Jeff of Viver is his full title.
Yeah, exactly. Jean Robert targets Courtney again. James complains about Jean Robert never shutting up. And then Jamie plays her false idol. It doesn't work, obviously. She gets 6 votes. JR gets 3 votes. I kind of, I'm glad they call him Jean Robert instead of JR, because JR feels like I want to like JR, you know?
Yeah, JR
As
seems
far
like a
as
fun
names
guy.
go.
Also, I would get him confused with Jim Ross, so I'm glad that he's going by Jean Robert.
Or Jean, I always called him Jean Robert Smith, JR Smith.
Yeah.
Or JR from Dallas, who shot him.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing about this show is that we don't have to guess who shot Jean Robert, because we know, because they read the votes.
Courtney.
They show the votes at the end.
Yeah, exactly. The second episode of this week was called High School Friend Contest. Well, something we know something about, huh?
Yeah, this is. I'm surprised it wasn't a picture of us holding up our statues.
Yeah, we, not to brag, but around this time in real life, well, a couple years later, I guess, technically, a year and a half later, we did, in fact, win the Best Friends Award at high school, Rockford High School in Rockford, Michigan.
Yeah, we were nominated for an Academy Award, and
Can you please pronounce it correctly? It's not an Academy Award. It's Academy Award.
an Academy Award. And apologies to Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig, but we're different. So
Yeah. Maybe you should have been best friends in 2009 in Rockford, Michigan. Maybe then you could have won that award too.
yeah, we would have been going up against Ryan Gosling and America Ferrera, and we would have won.
We probably would have won. This episode first aired November 8th, 2007. Of course, we were in high school. What age?
16.
16 years old.
Our Super Sweet
Best
16
age.
season continues.
Exactly. Do you recall the number one movie of this week? It's a movie you've definitely heard of.
Okay.
It's quite
So it's
different from the
not
last movie.
It's not American Gangster anymore.
It's no longer American Gangster.
You got to give me a hint.
This is not... No, that's the second hit. This stars a famous person from the 1990s in a love story that the internet has become in love with in recent years.
Huh. Oh, is it like a... Well, no, I think Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were kind of done at that point.
But give me that name, that first name again.
Are you talking about Ben Affleck?
Yeah,
Jennifer
but
Lopez?
No, Ben Affleck, but then take off the last 2/3 of it. So you get B-E. Okay. And now can you fill in the rest of the title? Starts... I'll give you another hint. It's not a
Is it
movie.
B-movie? Is it
It's
B-movie?
B-movie.
What's
course
the
it's
deal
B-movie.
with human women that want to have sex with bees?
It keeps happening to me, Jerry Seinfeld.
I have tried to watch that movie as a bit.
As a beat.
Two separate times. And let me tell you, it is both weird and not enjoyable to watch. It's not like horrible. It just does not grab you in any way.
That's wonderful. What did grab me was this episode of Survivor. Jean Robert is obnoxious in the shelter, and they all make fun of him. I do like when they all make fun of Jean Robert. It's like a community feeling that's very nice.
Yeah, they all need it, you know? I mean, that's the sort of reward that you get for putting up with him all the time.
Yeah, exactly. James talks about how much he enjoys being back with his original tribe and then catches a fish. Great episode for James in this moment.
Yeah, this is James rising to the top. Back on the streets.
James rules. We all love James. We all love everybody this season. So at the reward challenge, they have
Just
to
a
sink
man
each
and
other.
his will to survive.
Yeah, or a lady and her will to mamvive.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
They have to sink each other's boats at this reward challenge. The winners get an authentic Chinese meal. Fun challenge. I loved it. No notes.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And it's also fun seeing. I like any of the challenges where the reward is they get to eat a bunch of food. And
Yeah.
you know what? It was all cool local food.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Do they? They must still do that, right?
Well, you would think, right? Because of all the fun new locations that they're always shooting in.
Yeah, of course. James, Todd, Amanda, and Jean Robert win. How nice is that? At the reward, they go to an ancient Chinese village, and it's very cool. There was a shot wherein the camera was really far away from the table they were all eating at, and then they were like framed with this really intricate doorway, like this stone doorway or arch, whatever, in this building they were in. It's such a cool shot, you know? Move out of Fiji, Jeff.
But what if it was just like the same place that they always... What if it was the sanctuary where good things happen? How about that, huh?
Oh, that would be cool, actually. Because then we could say sanctuary where good things happen a lot. What did you think about when Jean Robert learned that there is in fact an American immunity idol?
This is entertaining. It was fun watching everyone have to pretend that they also didn't know that much about it.
Yeah. I love the idea of an American immunity idol. It's very, very funny.
You can only play it if you're an American.
Yeah, that makes sense. At camp, Denise is sad about always being picked last. Sure. They come up with a plan to take out Jean Robert. Great plan, no?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Later, Jean Robert goes idol hunting and, quote-unquote, finds the idol. Then James complains, Jean Robert argues, and Todd complains about the both of them. Todd considers targeting James. Then we get to this immunity challenge. I love this immunity challenge, too. They are in a deep mud pit. Well, Jeff is telling them the rules, and that was really funny. And then they have to balance on peeing dragon's back. Again, no notes. The challenges this week are great. This whole season.
Very cool. Very cool. Jeff got to yell at somebody for breaking the rules.
Good stuff. And Courtney wins, so you can't be mad about that. We love Courtney.
This was nice. I was glad to see Courtney have a challenge that was perfectly tailored to her.
Mm-hmm. Back at camp, Jean Robert tells Eric that he has the idol, but Eric doesn't believe him and tells him about James's 2 idols. Jean Robert realizes he doesn't actually have an idol. This was funny. I love seeing Jean Robert get hit with shit.
Be made a fool of.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's watching like Ron DeSantis in the presidential race. It's like, oh, he sucks, and he's doing bad, and I like that.
Everyone else is making fun of him.
Mm-hmm. When people aren't making fun of Jean Robert, you should be asking, why aren't people making fun of Jean Robert? Jean Robert confronts James about holding out on him, and James says that aligning with Jean Robert would be the worst move in Survivor history. Do you agree or disagree with this statement?
Who can say? Who's to say?
Good point. What, in your opinion, just given all of the Survivor you've seen in your life, what do you think the worst thing you could do in a game of Survivor would be?
Probably quit.
Okay, outside of quitting, obviously. Like,
get medevaced.
Yeah, good point.
Outside of like outliers, I mean, if we're talking about, I think there's a couple worst things you could do that we don't need to.
Like what?
Outside, yeah, like
Right.
Outing someone as a trans person against their will, or
maybe not
sexually
that.
harassing women.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, given the tools of the game, wouldn't it be embarrassing? Never mind. I won't delve deeper into this. Jean Robert and Todd agree to take James out. So then Todd changes the vote to Jean Robert. Great move.
Todd's kind of all over the place. Todd is.
A little bit.
I feel like I think he is doing a good job of scheming. I don't. At a certain point, I feel like everybody needs to realize that they can't trust him. Why is everyone listening to him? I think partially it's because he's good at scheming, but like at a certain point, you got to realize you could be a target of the schemes.
I think he's just a likable guy, you know? Like, what's to dislike about Todd? Nobody's got a bad thing to say about Todd.
He's kind of evil, but in a fun way.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like another guy we'll be talking about shortly. But first, we do have to. Yeah, we're going to do a new segment called The Joker Gems. We're going to talk about all the cool stuff.
What if
Joker
he was
did
on
this
Survivor?
week.
That'd be crazy.
Oh my God, Survivor all Jokers. And it could be every character.
Yeah, Survivor All Jokers, we can add that to the 100th place in the simulated season list. But you know what would be even better than that? I haven't seen a commercial for it here yet, but I'm sure I will. What if they had a Madame Web themed challenge on Survivor? Wouldn't that be something?
That would be really cool. I do love when they have to make, like, cross through webs and shit. That would be really cool. Is that a Paramount production of any sort?
I don't think it is, so I don't think they would, but what's the
I
line
love-
what's the line from the trailer that everyone was making fun of for that? Do you
I
remember?
don't even remember. I just watched it the one time and was like, yeah, I'll go see that. That looks great.
I like
so
that even
excited for that
promoting it,
movie.
like Dakota Johnson was like, I hated filming this all on blue screens. I have no idea what this movie's going to look like.
Fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to see that. Ben Scott is in it. What's his name? Adam Scott.
Adam Scott, yeah. Who can remember?
Yeah. Okay. Before we talk any further about evil guys pretending to be good or vice versa, we do need to discuss these wildlife shots. We got on the Tretas a hare. That was the only one.
Oh, speaking
Meanwhile-
of wildlife, this is what the line was, Jake.
Oh, okay.
It involves wildlife. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Yeah. Yeah, that tracks. That makes a lot of sense. We did, in fact, see a spider on this week on Survivor. We also saw numerous birds. We saw millipede. We saw moth. We saw hornet. We saw birds. More birds. Wow. Cricket, frogs, lightning bugs, chimpanzee, and the Kung Fu Panda. And a snake. Okay, wow. Shit, a lot of them. Okay. The frogs, though, are East Asian bullfrogs, also known as the Chinese edible frog. They're a brown frog. Where can they be found?
I'm going to take a wild guess, and I'm going to say you can find them in the nation of China.
It's a good guess. Sorry, that gave it away. What is their habitat?
Is it like wetlands?
You know, like freshwater areas, swamps and mud and whatnot. How big are they?
I'm going to say they are 2 inches,
Try a bit harder, like more than twice as hard.
5 inches.
A little too far over.
You said more than twice as hard.
4.5 inches.
Close
think they
enough.
rank?
You can round up. You can round up. It's close enough.
You can round up. Do you think scientists are rounding up when they're
Yeah,
measuring
they're
frogs?
doing it all the time.
Okay. Where do you think on the IUCN Red List they rank?
Least concern.
You would be correct. Okay, so everybody applauds Courtney for winning the Tribal Council Immunity Challenge, and that's what they call it. James says the real threats are the talkers, and other people say other things. Jean Robert is voted out finally 5-3 over James, over 1 for PG. Fantastic. I loved it. I was so happy to see it.
I wasn't even, it was one of those things where, like, considering how many votes they were able to get on James, and James didn't even bring his idols to tribal council with him, I was like, well, you missed an opportunity there. But I didn't even care because Jean Robert is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's put you in James's situation. You get votes at this tribal council. You have 2 immunity idols. What are you going to do with those immunity idols at the next opportunity you have to use them?
I mean, I'd probably at least take him with me to tribal council.
You'll probably at least take them with you to tribal council, right?
Yeah, just in case I need them, you know?
Just in case you need them, right? That makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we'll talk further about James's idols as the season goes on. We're all so excited about it. Okay, let's talk about our next segment. Thomas, can you tell us the name of this week's Quotes Quiz?
So nasty that it's probably somewhat of a travesty having me. Then he told the people you can call me your majesty.
If you went to an American high school, I can guarantee you won't score 10 out of 10 on this Shakespearean quotes quiz. It's a quotes quiz.
It's a quotes quiz. How perfect is that? Seeing as this one is about high school friendship, the title was at least, I figured this was a good quiz. You get a sonnet, you get a sonnet, everyone gets a sonnet. That's another reference to the mid-2000s. Remember Oprah? This is by
Yes,
Love.
of course.
This is by Love Mays Cam.
People still.
10,390 points.
I think one of my coworkers referenced that the other day, and I was like, really?
Yeah, it's a good reference. It's funny, and everybody gets it
2024?
and remembers it. When was that?
It's like the earlier mid 2000s. It would be like somebody doing a "was up" reference.
A good reference, though. You get a car. You get a car. Meme. Yeah, the meme. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Oprah's You Get a Car series. It's not a series. Oh, it's a series of video remixes. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm on knowyourmeme.com. A great website. 2004. So even before this season. 2004, Oprah gave away the new Pontiac G6 cars to the entire audience attending her show.
I bet they were feeling so fly.
Okay, here we go. What's the first question? Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on the tempests and is never shaken. Is this from Sonnet 112, Sonnet 116, Sonnet 17, or Sonnet 47?
I'm going to say Sonnet 47, and I'm incorrect.
I'm going to say Sonnet 112, and I'm also incorrect. It's Sonnet 116. Okay, so remember that, kids, for next time you have English class. Do you want to read the next one?
Sure. Thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Is this Sonnet 23, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Sonnet 29, Romeo and Juliet, or Movie 43?
Or the movie The Number 23.
Yeah, it could be that too. Did you notice it was the 23rd sonnet? I'm gonna say.
I'm saying A Midnight Summer's Dream.
I'm also saying Midsummer Night's Dream, and I'm wrong.
We were
It's
both
Sonnet
wrong.
29.
Sonnet 29. Damn. I would not wish any companion in the world but you. The Tempest, Othello, Much Ado About Nothing, Romeo and Juliet.
I'm gonna say Othello on this one.
How'd you do?
It's The Tempest.
I'm going to say The Tempest. Oh, I got it
Good.
correct.
Wow, it's crazy that you knew that.
Yeah, I've read a Shakespeare too. When you depart from me, sorrow abides and happiness takes his leave.
Oh, I do
Julius
feel like I've heard this one
Caesar,
before.
Romeo and Juliet, The Taming of the Shrew, Much Ado About Nothing. I feel like that's Taming of the Shrew.
I said Romeo and Juliet, and it's Much Ado About Nothing.
We're killing it.
I think I've read Much Ado About Nothing, but it was long enough ago that I don't remember much about it, especially not that quote, apparently.
You know Much Ado About Nothing? Okay. The thing is, I feel like I've seen more like teen movies based on Shakespeare plays than I have seen actual Shakespeare plays.
Yeah, I think that's also true for me. Jake, I'm going to read this last one.
Is this the last one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Let me double check. No, it isn't. Never mind.
Okay.
There's just an ad underneath it. I love you more than words can wield the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty. And I am going to say King Lear on this one.
You sound really confident. How'd you do?
Well, you need to guess before I can tell you.
I love you more than words can wield the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty. I'm going to say Macbeth. Damn it, it was King Lear.
It was King Lear. Finally, one of us got one right.
I got one right before.
Yeah, because you heard me say the answer, which is why I didn't
smarter,
do that
not
this
harder.
time. This is one where, like, I haven't actually seen King Lear, but I believe he loses his either eyesight or hearing or both towards the end of it. Like, I know he's in poor physical health, so I made an educated guess, and it paid off.
Love is begun by time, and time qualifies the spark and fire of it. Othello, Richard III, The Tempest, Hamlet.
I'm going to say Othello again, and I'm wrong again.
I'm going to say Richard III.
I should know this one. It was Hamlet. Hamlet is definitely one that I've read and seen, so I should definitely have remembered that.
Okay, this next one's easy. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Sonnet 18, Romeo and Juliet, Sonnet 38, Sonnet 116. I want to say Romeo and Juliet, but now I feel like I'm wrong. I was wrong.
I guessed Romeo and Juliet, and it was incorrect. Sonnet 18. We're great. Okay. We're doing so good at this. I don't know any of the sonnets. I don't read that shit. Get out of here.
I can't know any sonnets. I gotta go fast.
Get your sensitive ass back to sonnets. This is Did You Watch Survivor last night? We clowning this motherfucker.
Can you get to the next one?
And yet, by heaven, I think my love is rare as any she belied with false compare.
Okay. Sonnet 120, 12th Night, Macbeth, Sonnet
I can't guess the
130.
sonnets because they don't mean anything to me. So I'm guessing 12th Night.
How'd you do?
Well, how about you tell me what you're guessing?
Okay, well, I was also going to guess 12th Night, and I was wrong. It was Sonnet 130.
Yep.
Okay.
Who could forget Sonnet 130?
It's my favorite sonnet.
Yeah.
This dude just wrote 200 sonnets because he was into a lady so hard. Okay. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. Oh, my God. Antony and Cleopatra, Macbeth, Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream.
This shit's so boring. Who cares?
Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind. Yeah,
I'm guessing
I'm actually
A Midsummer
into
Night's
Quentin
Dream.
Tarantino more. Okay, how'd you do?
You have to guess. You're not getting me with this again.
Cupid painted blind. I'm gonna say Antony and Cleopatra. Damn it, it's Midsummer Night's Dream. That was my first guess.
That's right. I've got two of them right.
This next one has to do with old friend of ours from Survivor. Can you read it to the audience?
My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite.
You recall that from Survivor Co. Wrong, where we met Chase and Jason, the bounty hunter.
I guess Sonnet 16 because I haven't been guessing any sonnets, so I'm going to say this is a trick question. It's not any of those plays.
My bounty is as boundless as the sea. I got to go with King Lear. And it's, of course, Romeo and Juliet, the only one I've
Juliet,
seen.
again, one of the ones that I've definitely read before and seen.
The one they make you all read.
Was this in Romeo plus Juliet? I can't remember.
I was a little distracted during that movie because of everything that was happening.
Yeah, there's so much visual
correct.
flair.
I scored better than 17% of all other quiz takers. Not a Shakespeare fan. Looks like you forgot a few of these plays and sonnets, but still, good work. We honestly can't keep up either. And
I scored better than
Bugs
39%, but I got the same thing.
Okay, yeah, well, great. Okay, so next week we'll do some more. Oh, shit, Thomas, you know what it appears to be time for?
What's that?
Quick little segment here to end of the show. Little segment called Trader Talk.
Let's go to Trader Joe. All that bad shit you eating is gonna take a toll. They got some healthy food for you and it's for the low.
Of course, the 5th episode of The Traders Season 2 was uploaded to Peacock this week, and I trust you watched it, right?
Well, I watched an episode of The Traders.
Great, and it was episode 5, right?
Just happened to be the second episode.
Oh,
So
of the 3
pretty
they released on day 1?
Parv being pretty excited about Johnny Bananas getting voted off and about Parv being one of the traders. But I do like that this season everybody is making decisions based off of the absolute dumbest possible information, and everyone went along with it because Peppermint getting voted off was stupid.
Yes, agreed. It's just This show is just groupthink every time, and how people are so susceptible to it. Because, yeah, if somebody throws the target on somebody else, why wouldn't I join in with them? That means the target's not on me.
Literally, the entire argument for it was she gave a look when is it Trishelle is the challenge. Made a joke about her being a trailer if she got voted off, and then Trishelle didn't get voted off and was like, and that proves that you're one of the traitors. And everyone was like, yeah, good point.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. I'm sure there was nothing else going on, and that's why they voted out Peppermint. Yeah, other than that, the season's been great so far. Can't wait for you to catch up with the rest of us. I'll add you to the Survivor DM spinoff that's specifically for the traitors once you're caught up. I hope you catch up before the end of the show, you know? I think it's going to come faster than we think.
Well, I did find out that I am an episode ahead on Survivor, so maybe I will dedicate the time I would have spent watching that to watching more of the traitors.
Yeah, there you go. Thomas, if people want to read your thoughts on bluesky.com, where would they do that?
It's tom.tom at bsky.social.
That's right. The show's on Blue Sky 2 at the Only Fun Survivor podcast, onlyfunsurvivorpod.bsky.social, or on YouTube, the Only Fun Survivor podcast. What can people comment on YouTube if they chose to?
Ha ha ha, very funny smiley face.
And if you comment anything else, and it's good, we'll read it aloud, but we would really prefer that. Our last poll, you remember what we asked last week?
I don't remember.
We did both forget by the end of the episode, but I went back and re-listened to it, and it was, have you had your fill of Zodiac quizzes during the Quopst quiz? So 40% of people said, we love the Zodiac quizzes. 40% of people said, enough with the Zodiac quizzes already. And 20% of people said, what does this have to do with Survivor?
The people have spoken and they're uncertain.
Yeah. So do we have another poll ready for them to go this week?
Yes. Are you excited for Madame Web? Yes, no, who can say?
Who can say? Is that coming out this week?
I don't have any idea. I don't know when it's coming out. Soon, I hope.
Yeah, we're on Madam Web watch over here. Ooh, Madam Web would be perfect for Ma'am Viver, because she's a lady too.
That's true. Ma'am Viver. It'd be really funny as a bit to call it Ma'am Viver, like saying herstory.
Yeah, anytime a woman does a good move on this show, we'll call it Ma'am Viver moving forward. We have a few shows on Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/justpodcasts. Which one do you want to shout out this week, Thomas?
I'm going to shout out a classic, and that is, of course, Just Joey, where it all began.
Classic show for a classic listener. That's available at patreon.com/justpodcasts. Again, it's good. And do you want to thank the fans?
I would love to thank the listeners. Thank you for listening.
Right. And what can they write on Apple Podcasts should they leave us a review?
This is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
And that's what we're giving to everybody listening, and we would love for that to be reciprocated. And we'll see you next week when we watch which episodes, Thomas? Which number episodes?
We're watching episodes 9 and 10.
We watched 7 and 8 this week, so next week we are watching 9 and 11. Never forget. Number 10 is a recap episode.
Oh, 10's a recap episode. Okay.
Yeah. We were still in that era where they were doing that every 10th episode, apparently. Yeah, that only 3 more weeks of Survivor China. We're really powering through this. And
It's a quick watch.
Season 46 starts in March, or maybe late April. Yeah. great stuff. Survivor China, killing it as always. Till next week, have a great summer.
Deuces.
When the sun comes up on a sleepy little town down around San Antonio, and the folks are rising for another day, round about their home. The people
I think you kind of were bragging about it in like a backhanded way.
No, I wasn't. I was saying actually, I'm actually very humble about it. Like, it's not even hard for me to hit the red button. It's easy actually for me to do it. I could just do it.
No
like that.
problem. I do it all the
Yeah.
time.
Snap of fingers. Snap of the fingers. I'm recording. That's what I always say to myself. Just to get myself in the mood. Myself. I've been working on my Irish accent.
Do you have like a whole entrance that you go before you hit the red button? You walk out.
I do. Yeah, I do. I really do. I come in playing either CM Punk song or Shinsuke Nakamura song,
Yeah,
depending
you-
on who had a
you
better
come-
result in the last week.
You come out and it's like adrenaline in my veins.
Yeah. Podcasting has more than one Survivor podcast.
It's time. Yeah, it's time for us to finish the Survivor story.
How do you think the Survivor story will end? Jeff Probst dies on screen?
Yeah, probably. Jake, we can edit this out if it turns out I'm not right, but didn't we talk about this episode already? I could have sworn we were doing 7 and 8.
Well, yeah. We did do 7 and 8, didn't we?
Wasn't this the episode that we just talked about? Wasn't this the second episode from last week?
No. No. This is the one where Jean Robert gets votes, but Jamie is voted out. And then the second
Okay.
one we watched.
What I was worried about was either I am an episode ahead or we are an episode behind, and maybe I'm an episode ahead. Let me check. Let me see which ones I've watched.
Okay.
Yep, I just watched 9, so yes, that is my
Whoops.
bad.
All right.
We can edit all that out, it's fine.
That's okay.
talking about the China road. China road.
Smarten up, Probst.